how to use this freaking thing. Program. 1, 2, 3. Most intensive ever. This washing machine has gone through a lot. Push the button. There we go. Put that in. There it is. What can you do? Right, let me show you this. Now this doesn't look like much. It isn't really much. Like as far as material sciences are concerned, not much at all. This is an ingot, and it's probably one of the worst ingots I've ever made, to be honest. But there is something different about this. Now the reason is that this has actually come from circuit boards, and the way it's come from circuit boards is I've dissolved the circuit board in aqua regia, electrolyzed out the copper and a small amount of silver. So this is a small copper silver alloy, and the plan in the next couple of weeks is to continue to purify this. So it'll go into the aqua regia again. It won't go into aqua regia, it'll go into nitric acid. It'll go into nitric acid again, and it'll get dissolved away, it'll get electrolyzed out again. And each time you do that, it gets slightly purer. Here's another piece of it that's actually got a slightly higher silver content. This piece here, just because of where it was in the cycle, slightly higher silver content once again. And this guy, this is getting to the really cool stuff, because that is starting to get quite a large silver content. The reason why it's looking so gunmetal grey is because there's actually iron in it. And what you can do is you can pretty much dunk it in acid and then dunk it in calcium carbonate and wash that off, and eventually you're going to clean the surface of this so it'll become more silvery, depending on the copper content. But once again, this is probably going to need another iteration or two, and we're going to have increasingly pure silver content here. This is the start of something big. So I'm happy with that. Now, failing eyesight, so we're going to give this thing a shot. It's nothing but a Fresnel lens, but basically I am going to stick, I'm going to stick here, I think, in this part here, and if I put it over here like that, let me have a look and see what it's like. I'm not sure you can see anything, but maybe I can put this in front. You can see that if I put my hand in front here, oh yes, you can read my fingers now. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I think we've got we've got stuff happening here. So let's bring this with us. This is going into my top secret drawer that no one can ever know about. Like at the moment, there's not enough silver to worry about it. So into secure location it goes. Now, Max, are you enjoying your walnut? Yeah. Pony, I can see that you have decided to migrate up the stick. That's very good of you. Loki, would you like a scratchy poo? Would you like a scratchy poo? Yeah, you would like a scratchy poo. Always wants the scratchy poo. Always. There you go. Now you'll have to excuse me. So I've got to go do some opaling. Huh? Go do some opaling. Opal. Oi, oi, oi. There you go. Oi. Don't worry, I'll be back in soon. Oh, 2 likes already. Thank you, guys. Now, bit of a mess. That's all right. We've got everything sorted out here, though. This is some remaining copper. And you can actually see there's a little bit of silver to the side here and to the side here. That'll bake into the copper as I smelt it. Very excitingly, in this one, that stuff in there, if you can see it, it's a bit green, so there's a bit of copper oxide in it. But that is probably purer than most other ones that I've done. Let's have a look in here. So it's just that little powder there. That's actually silver powder with a little bit of copper in it and a little bit of copper oxide. So that's purer still. It'll take a few more iterations to get it to a good consistency. It's quite an astonishing task. Don't worry, it's not hot. Very. Just having a look in there, seeing what the crucible's got in it. Yeah, you can see that there's a that is a slurry-like material there, and I think the yeah, we'll give that a bit of a shake actually. You never know what you get when you do this. You get something, that's what you get. No idea what that was. Then I think there's a false layer here, so that's intriguing. Got to clean out these crucibles every now and then, and these crucibles are ablative, that they get used up as you use them. It's quite frustrating because it's not that they're all that expensive, but they do represent a cost. There we go, you can see it, I can see it, we can all see it. Yeah, there's some beads in there. There'll be silver and copper alloy beads in there. So that's good to see. Now, give me 5 seconds whilst I just try and get this out. I'll pop you here and I'll see if I can get the beads out for you so you can see them. And yoink. Now. Ouch, 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 ouch. That one. Yeah, did you get someone do? Oh, no. So I'll try this one. There's no point in having the kid gloves with these things because they will break eventually anyway. Here we go, have a look at this. This is something I missed earlier, but it's pretty cool. We're getting very slowly there. Now there's interesting little properties with all of this stuff that you get to learn as you're starting to refine metals. One of them is the properties of silver, gold and other things. It's coming over here. The crucibling process is quite brutal. So I've got these. I'll zoom in for you. You can see that basically what you've got there is a combination of carbon, combination of copper, and a combination of silver. There's a lot of silver in these particular beads, which is pretty cool. What I'll do is I'll dunk them in hydrochloric acid, and that will help to clean up. And then I'll put them into some baking soda, and that helps to clean them up even more. What's our status like? It's not too bad. Oh, okay. Just putting out a tray out. Bit of a squirt of acid. I literally missed the whole tray. We've got the plant underneath, which is okay because the plant's a weed. Now I've got to be careful because this is about as safe to handle as Zyklon V, if you know what that is. You've got to be careful holding this. Use gloves or whatever else as a general rule. This is just in a fairly separate tray. You can actually see it all foaming off the tray. But you can see instantly that just in the corner there, a lot of the dark stuff has come off the beads. Also see there's an awful lot of material that is now starting to colour up. That's just washing it in acid. There's clearly a lot of silver in there. It still needs to be refined further though, so you just got to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep pushing, keep swimming, keep going, and eventually you win. What I will do with these ones is I will quickly dunk them in the baking soda so you can see what that looks like. I shall return with baking soda. Right, so let's have a look at this now. Just put this fluid in here. Very good. Interesting in its own right. We'll just get the water started so that we can start this whole thing running. So here we go. We've got ourselves some nice little lighter beads after the treatment, and you keep rinsing and repeating, and eventually you get yourself something nice. But the weird thing about this is that this is going straight back into the smelter. Really, there's so many purification steps in this, and you don't necessarily have a complete recipe because there's situations which are unique. So it's all a bit, it's definitely a learning experience from beginning to end, and it'll be a learning experience no matter where you're from, where you start, what you're doing. One thing I do know about all this now is it's fascinating. Oh, look at that one. I think that's a little bit of gold. It's possible. Odds are it's silver with a bit of copper contamination, but it looks nice and goldy, so, you know. Until we're proved otherwise, we'll just call it gold. Look at me and my gold. Yay! So, I'll give you I'll show you the beads as they stand, along with our nice little chunk of, in inverted commas, gold. And we shall look at them and gaze upon them and be in awe of them, and then we'll go and do some live streaming for opals. There you go. There's our little chunks of precious metal. There's potentially, well, there could well be, you know, the tens of dollars of value in there. Don't worry, it gets better. That was a proof of concept. We now know that it works, so all we need to do is just work harder at it, I suppose. Just tipping out the remaining water here. There is a forge over here which I've cracked out, and it's not in an ideal location, so I've just got to move it before I trip over it and kill everyone in sight. Yeah. Now I was reading up on this and they said, listen, if you do this method, what you're going to do is you're going to accidentally bake a lot of iron into your metals. And because I've been smelting for some time, and I'm not saying I'm a successful smelter because clearly I'm not wealthy off the gold and silver that I've been smelting, but I've done a bit of it, and so I thought that's highly unlikely. But no, they were right. Most certainly a win for them there. And those beads, I'll show you the beads that have come out of the... no, we'll go and do some opals straight away. We've played with forges enough. Close this down, move this over, get rid of tripping hazard, and then let's get cracking into opals. So what I am going to do today is I am going to make sure that everything's nice and safe. We're going to have a look at a few of the opals that are sitting in here. Oh, hello there. Hang on for a second. J for Genius has told me something. You've got chemistry in you. Yeah. Okay, it's so quiet because I was sitting there with some precious metals. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to wax a bit complicated, guys, just for the sake of J the Genius. What I've discovered with the precious metals and what is fairly ubiquitous among them is that even though copper, silver, and gold are really all precious metals, copper happens to be more reactive than all of them, but it tends to stay in solution, especially with silver. So it's a real nuisance to separate it from the silver. And so the best way you can do it is you can melt it in nitric acid, and usually the silver remains, but some of the silver will also dissolve into the nitric, and then you've got to electrolyze out the copper. And each iteration, each time you do it, it just gets a little bit more pure. You can't just do it in one fell swoop. You've got to just be patient. Yeah. Have you actually ever smelted metals, Jay? And it's not a flex. It's because I'm learning an awful lot, even though technically I have massive chemical background. I wouldn't say massive. I have chemistry background. Like I did soil chemistry and soil physics, which is a very interesting and somewhat niche topic. But I learned an awful lot about the ionic surfaces of soils, and so I kind of know how that works. Yeah, and you are right about them being in the same group of the periodic table, it's quite annoying. But the thing about it is, once you start getting really dense materials, they start getting less and less reactive. That's also interesting. And I've been doing some research into things like aqua regia. And for those who don't know, aqua regia is just a mix of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. And although you get an awful lot of explanations about how it works, when you drill deep into it, you realize no one knows how it works. It's one of those situations where you go, hang on, there's no information here. And that, quite frankly, is cool. I'm just going to quickly put some water in the top here, just a little bit, because I don't need a lot. We need enough to go on. Right. I think we're going to be good. Looks to me like the redundant systems are working quite well, so we're probably going to have no trouble with our opals tonight. Well, we're going to have trouble with our opals, but none of the typical troubles. So let's turn the water on. Okay. Let this fill up. And whilst we're letting that fill up, I'll just give this a quick spray. And thanks for the like whoever did that. It's always important before you start your live stream to clean everything up so people know you're a serious professional outfit. Yeah. Well, if you want, I can turn the smelter on. Have I got? What can I smelt in there? I can do those beads whilst we're waiting. I better not, because there'll be water everywhere. It would be dangerous, so I won't. But like, I'll do one of them at some stage. You sleep? Okay, I'll get this thing going so that you can at least see something being cut before you go into the land of Nod. Yes, that's what we called it, the land of Nod. That was my granny anyway. Having a look to see if there's a nice opal here for cutting purposes. We've got one here. That one might yield some results. So we'll have that one. Now a quick look in the drawer of fun. No, the drawer of even more fun even. We'll get something calculated. So we've got this guy here. In you go, and then we'll just... This one probably has got something. Let's have a look at you. Yes, that one has something, so we'll keep that. That one. Where are you? Okay, that one there. Practically done already. What else have we got here? I'm just going to do this one out of sheer morbid curiosity, because I think that we might get something out of it. I'm having a look at it now. I'm going, I'm morbidly curious. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. No, that one, yes. That one, probably. This is a nice big white one. Hopefully that's got something on it. Doesn't look like it. We could just cut it and risk it. See what we find. I think we've got better things to do. So let's have a look at this one. That one's got just a hint of a pattern on it, so we might get lucky. So that's going to be our mystery opal. Let me have a look here. This, do you reckon that'll erupt in pattern? It might, but it might not as well. So let's not bother. We've already got one mystery opal, we don't need dozens. Especially considering the fact that we're not really starving here. We're not light on opals. It's just that we're light on examined opals. That's the issue. I haven't kept up with keeping the supply of colour going. We've got colour, we've just got to look for it though. So there's some. This one looks good too. It's just a hint of red in that one. Hopefully we'll be able to get more than a hint. I love it when they've got that little skin on them, because that usually means there's something good happening. This one's got blue. We'll just see, because it's a bit bluey. Won't worry about that one, even though it is fascinating. Look at you. Alright. It is fascinating as well, but we're not going to worry about it. Okay, we've got those ones then. And I'll just get another reserve backup handful just in case something goes wrong with those ones. We have a nuclear accident. So let's have a look at this. Now that's just interesting. I'll give that one a bit of a cut, because there's pseudo colour all over it. So that's cool. What's this one? That one.
Yep, that's got a layer just underneath there, so we'll give that one a go. So look at this one. That looks more like it's going to disappoint us, so let's get rid of it. That one. Oh, look at that. Okay, that's our starters, Opal. That's a starter. You'll like that one. Let's see if we've got anything else that's of that quality, because that one was a good one. It's worth having a go at. Not worth dropping though. Okay, so here we go. And yes, guys, I'm oh, where are you in the world? I was going to say I'm in Australia, but no, you're talking to someone else. Right, fair enough. There we go. Look at that one. Yeah, knew there were good ones out here. Okay, so we'll zoom in and we'll push the color button. Retouch is on. See if you can spot it. Just in there, can you see that? Nice bit of color there. So, I've got these two. I'll just quickly look through these ones because this seems to be a bit of a lucky pile, doesn't it? Yep, that one will work as well. Not as well as the other one, because that one's bloody spectacular, that one is. This one, it is colourful, but it's got a lot of issues, so I'll leave that one. So this one's looking, yep, that's another good one. Okay, we've got three good ones at the moment. There's another one that's got reds in it, so that's good. Yeah, reds and greens, pretty light on, but you know. So I've got like 4 good ones out of that small sample. That one's a wild card. I'm not going to do that tonight because, well, I don't need to. We'll have plenty on our plate to do. And then we're going to get to bed. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly look through these to see if there's anything that I've missed that's spectacular. If not, they're going back into the tray and we'll... nah. Nah. Okay, into the tray they go. Just 2 or 3 more just to see if there's one. I'm just feeling there might be an absolute corker sitting around here somewhere. That's all. That one is going to be another test opal. I suspect that one's going to be good. What I'll do is I'll actually start off with that one because that'll just get my eye in. And then we can really get cracking with the rest of it. That's also got the pinks and stuff on it. So look here. Not really. Yeah, that one's got some. In you go. In you go. What are you? Nah. No. Okay. Got more than enough though. Alright, let's get cracking. And Jake the Genius, a good way to simulate smelting, I was thinking about it, is, how do I put this? Well, you stand out in the midday sun with something a lot hotter. And I don't mean you, Jay's the Genius. I mean physically, temperature-wise hotter. If I remember correctly, our friend X is from Indonesia. By the way. You liked my desperate attempt at sexual harassment then, did you? HR will be on me for that one. There you go, Indonesia. I'm pretty certain that I had a conversation with X. I'm not sure if he even remembers, because maybe people drift in and out of the chats, and I'm okay with that. But I was talking about my supervisor, Buddingman, Manasni, and all that sort of stuff. That's why I remembered. Yeah. Well, it's midnight-ish around here, so Indonesia won't be that far off. Compared to the United States or Europe, which is like a day away. I think our daylight savings just finished, so I don't know. (8:30 a.m.) It's just getting on midnight here in Sydney, Australia. If I might use the old radio presenter voice. At the third stroke, it will be midnight precisely. Beep, beep, beep. At the third grinding sound, it will be midnight precisely. I think it's pretty interesting how the world is getting way more global. I mean, even political or national rivals get to talk to each other, which is kind of cool, because they get to skip the narrative that their own governments tell them, and you just get to talk to people in general. It means that the future's looking up. Present ain't looking that smash hot, but the future's up. There we go, I'll shape that later. It's mostly in shape now. But with you, let's go and grab a... Which one will we do? We'll do... I think it was this one. Yeah, it was this one. Most decidedly this one. Got a bit of an issue with just a flake here. I might be able to just snap it off. No, it's too tight. So what we'll do is we'll very carefully cut around the crack and see if we can mitigate it. Not looking too promising, but we'll see what happens when the skin comes off. I'm all but certain that's a gastropod shell. Whoops, oh well. I don't like doing this, but it's necessary. You need to see how far the rock goes. It didn't actually go that far. I think we can get away with cutting this opal cleanly. Well, the only central USA place I've been to is Nebraska, and that's slightly north of central, if I remember correctly. He's got a name which suggests that he may come from central or even further south. Oh yeah, central. Yeah, okay. So Mexico and all that. Sorry, I thought you meant central as in the middle of the continent. Sorry about that, Adam. I did. Remember, we don't have the same. Oh, you never know. The rocks might be just a bit buried, that's all. Yeah, I figured it out. Took me a while. Look, it's late. It's nearly midnight around here. Well, it's probably past by now. But, you know, unfamiliar geography and also late at night, not good for, you know, saying, oh yeah, I know all about Central America and rich culture and tapestry. When I was doing my degree, there was a bunch of Mexicans there. Now that sounds like a bit of a slur, but it's not really, because like they were different to everyone else in that I had a scholarship. Pretty much everybody who was in the room had a scholarship, but these people didn't. They saved up and they paid their own way to all the conferences and everything else. And so just because they had the brass balls to do that, they earned a lot of respect. Yeah, so what do they call that golf? The Gulf of Trump or something, don't they? Well, I really wish I could rename things on a whim. Today we're going to be cutting gems, the greatest gems in the world. And they're no longer called opals because I said so. They're called dingleberries. Well, that's a revolting development, right in the middle there. Oh, that was like a chosen one opal too. Oh well. Now I'm angling this one in because I've noticed that there is actually some colour at the edges at a specific spot. So I'm kind of angling it so that if I do go too far, I'm not going to cause issues, but also it's just easier to manage the whole opal like that. Easiest way to say it. Another crack, look at that. So when encountering this, it's a good idea to cut early. There is absolutely no way we're going to avoid cutting it, so may as well get it over with now. It's better to destroy the opal now than to invest like a couple of hours for it to crack at the end of it. You have to cut it right through that section, which is really annoying. You'll see why in a second. Even more annoying, the resistance that it's offering me tells me the opal maybe didn't need to be cut. You may as well follow through now. Because we didn't know, the only way to figure it out was to literally cut it like this. Very slight amount of colour on here. That's per usual, it's facing from all the wrong angles. So I'm naturally putting a huge dome on it to try and compensate. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, when you're putting a huge dome on it, you're overcompensating. I think I've told this story too, but when I was over in, I think it was Jeju in Korea somewhere, that's where I met those Mexicans, and I didn't understand anything about, the subtleties of language. I had some Chilean friends, and in some South American countries, it's not even a mention, but they're all like, concha de mara, concha de mara, concha de mara. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know what it meant, just said it with them. Concha de mara, huevo, concha de mara, huevo. As far as I'm concerned, a huevo is a, what would you call it? It's just a random noun. You go take the huevo, put it over there, mate. Turns out that huevo actually is, well, if you understand Latin languages, you realise there's a root in all of them, but it's huevos, and just basically means eggs. But because they're small and they're round and they're roughly, in proportion to human anatomy, the Spanish American speakers, they're kind of like, that's a rude word. I don't even know where to begin with concha de mara. I'll give you a hint though, you came out of one. Have a look here, you can see, no you can't see squat. Jake, at what point are you going to help me out here? See a little, yeah, no. See a little bit of colour there, that'll come good, that's a pretty good one. 48:57, so we're nearly up to Magnus Opal time, aren't we? Ooh. Just having a quick look over here, what we've got there, no worries. Renee and Matey. I'm going to give one of these lightning riggers a bit of a go, because why not? Now the reason why I've stopped is there's just a hint of colour in here somewhere. I'm trying to figure out how to bring it out. Just seeing if cutting it back can actually give us a bit more of a view of those. Now the green colours are not going to be very easy to identify, I'm afraid. So I'll probably have to just let it go, let it go. It's also got colour on it, which is good. Okay, let's have a look at ski. In our pile ski, okay, I'm going to take this one because it intrigues me. Quick zhoosh and away we go. Found a matrix opal once in graffiti material and I was never able to polish it correctly. It's I don't know, like Sisyphus rock, I suppose. I wonder why Elvis Presley never sang the Sisyphus rock. Did I just see 4 likes? Yay! Thank you whoever did that. Let's have a look. Don't think it's worth the time, but I will just check the outside edges. See if there's anything that can be revealed. Nah. But I think that will yield much interesting opal. Okay, so this is a huge chunk of shell opal. Just carefully cut the sand off it. Just so that you know, ladies and gentlemen, the search is now on for the Magnum Opal. Worrying now, we're starting to really zoom in on what's going on here. Finally. So this better be worth it. Then suddenly, nothing happened. But it happened suddenly, mind you. Disappointed I lit my pipe. Right, that one's not going to do it, so let's move on to another one. Shall we have a look at this one? I think we shall. up. Here we go. I think I'm going to have to change the blade because it just isn't working. Look at that. Poor thing. All right. I think we'll have to call it a night on that one. So let's go have a look at the lovely little bird, shall we? Yawn, yawn, yawn. Here we go. Off that goes. Off that goes. The huevos con aceite. No huevos con aceite. Huevos con aceite. Lemon. That was the Chileans singing that. That's to the tune, of course, We're Not Going to Take It by Twisted Sister. Naturally, the Chileans, they couldn't leave that song alone. The funny thing about it is, as an English speaker, when you sing La Bamba, like for ever such a long time, I was like, it's like la 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 bamba. And the Chileans just laughed and laughed and laughed at me, going, "What's wrong? This is how they sing it." Parabala la bamba. Honestly, who does that? Oops, sorry. Gotta find that little pokey stick. So we can poke in here. There we go. There we go. Max, it's your time to shine. Would you like a stretchy poo? Come in then. I'll just scratch for me. You ready? Here you are. Max is never one to let his guard down. He will always consider threats. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, you never know, if he'd have had that attitude from the very beginning, he might not have been in his predicament. Until he's enjoying it, paradoxically, because he's moving his head right down. A bit too late to let them out. Pony is recovering. I'll need to change your cage again. And please don't sit in it. Nah. Oh well. Well, there we go. We did 4 or 5 opals. I'm absolutely exhausted. I've had a big day. Went into the city. I went into the city. Oh. As you can see, yawn. All right. So what I'll do is I'll hand Max a walnut because Max actually likes them. Like he couldn't care less. And we'll probably end this live stream on watching a cockatoo crack a walnut.
He's like, piss off. All right, fine. Say goodbye to everyone. I love that sideways head movement. Anywho, like and subscribe on the way out if you enjoyed what you saw. Helps the channel out even if you don't really like opals. Something nice to do. But have a nice evening anyway. Dr. Phil out.